In this chapter, let's dig a little bit deeper and get a little bit more practical. That's something that's hard for me to do. Only kidding. What we're talking about now is intent. That's a good word. It's the intent of what we're planning on doing with the document that we haven't created yet. Stephen Covey, international speaker, has a series of habits that make you successful. One of those is begin with the end in mind, and I think we can all agree that that's a good thing to do. Illustrator will take us anywhere we want to go on the journey that we want, but if we know the end destination, it's going to help us set this up. So in this lesson, what we'll do is we'll examine what we need to do up front to a brand new document if our intent is to go to print. 4-color press, high-end printer. You won't need a work file. We're going to start with File, New. So go up to the word File on the pull-down menu and go down to New. And in New, we get all this neat stuff. Number one, you can name the file now. Now, that doesn't mean it's saved, but when you go to save it, it will have that name. So that's not actually a bad thing. The next one down is the profile. You've got a lot of neat things in here. You've got print, web devices, video and film. I do a lot of video work. Basic RGB, even a new one called Flash Builder. We're going to print, so go ahead and select that. Everything changes in a sense based on what you're doing. For example, we now have sizes right here. Now you've got letter, legal, and tabloid, which is kind of the US side of the fence, and you've got the A's and the B's, which is the more European side. We're going to make a letter. Now that would be, I suppose, 8.5 by 11, but if we choose it here, it'll fill all the blanks in for us. So we choose letter. Now it's measuring right now in points, and you say, well, that's not what I like. I don't like points. So we can come over here and change it. I usually use pica when I'm working in, for example, anything to press, because pica is a very clean measuring system. Or I could change that to inches in the US, or maybe centimeters or whatever if I'm working, say, in Europe, or pixels if I'm working on the internet. You've got anything you want, and we can change this anytime we want to. Our orientation can be portrait or landscape, and we want a tall document, a portrait. This is one option that you will see if you are in print. Bleeds. Now, what is a bleed? A bleed is when you take a document and you've got actually the graphics, the artwork, the colors, all the way to the edges of the paper. In most cases, that's printed on a 4-color press, and what's happening is it's a bigger piece of paper. You put the graphics out into that area, and when it's printed and dried, they cut it. So it guarantees that full bleed look. Let's go ahead and go in here and give it a little bit of a bleed, and that way you can see it when we actually open the document up. Now it's telling us by default down here that we are in the CMYK color space. If you're going out to print, you want to stay there. Our resolution, pixels per inch, 300. You say, well, I thought this was a vector program. There are things that rasterize when you're working in Illustrator when it goes to press. That's the number it's using. For print, that's actually good. And you've got an align to pixel grid, and we're saying no for that. If we come into here and click Advanced, you can change those options if that's something you want to do. You've got a color mode change. Here's the raster effect. You want to leave that if you're going to print at 300. You have a preview mode. We'll get into more detail on this in another lesson. But you've got default pixel and overprint. Overprint is good to use if you're going out to a press. And we can align new objects to the pixel grid. I use that one a lot when I'm working on the internet, but we'll go ahead and leave that off for now. Click OK. Now you will notice a red area that goes around the document. That red area represents the bleed. So if I were to actually work with this and bring clip art in, I would make sure the clip art actually extended into those red areas because they're actually going to be cut off after the process is over of the printing on the press. So there you go. Pretty simple so far. But if you're going out to print, there are options that we can use that help better manage Adobe Illustrator for that goal. On to the next.